Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. Welcome to episode 145 of We the GamerCast. Comes to you on iTunes, Google Play, mother-loving YouTube every single Monday. Thank you for being here, for rating us on iTunes, giving the thumbs up on the video, leaving a comment, some questions, retweeting, sharing everything that you guys do. It's amazing. Thank you so much. What a weekend. Holy crap. I just finished recording episode 100 with the guru himself, Mr. Bobby Pauls. I'm a little out of breath. I think this means I should probably go for a jog or something. But guys, I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. If you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with strangers from the internet. And if you want to be on the show, it's easy. Just tweet at me, at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery. This is, of course, on video. And we have returning guests every month because of everybody at patreon.com/makeusbetter. That group is amazing. April has been absolutely bonkers. So thank you to everybody for supporting us there, especially our newest patron, Mr. Tony Baker. I'll get to in a second because he's one of our amazing producers, executive producers, like our platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, at twitch.tv/, twitch.tv/Chicks_18, and Mr. Mark Moody, the glorious one himself, youtube.com/Mr. Moody Reviews. Support them because they support us. Gold executive producers, Mr. Sheldon, Benedict, and Mr. Tony Baker, the Quest for Pixels boys. Thank you guys so much. Holy crap, you guys are incredible. And all of our executive producers, Dude427, Martini Jean, Aaron Doherty, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, and Mr. Nick Milicia from Next Level Games. Guys, I hope you're doing okay. This is Monday is here, or whatever day you're hearing and listening or watching this. I hope you're having a good one. I've had an amazing weekend just catching up with Bobby. We launched 2 episodes if you're at Nintendo within the last 48 hours. 99, the Wayne Gretzky episode with the memories and all the clips and stuff. Whew, good times. I think I don't remember singing to Bobby that much. And it was good to go back through and check out all the guests as well. Amazing times on If We Ran Nintendo. And I just streamed, as I mentioned at the top of the show, episode 100. Kind of a big deal. You know, like I hear the Megadads are doing 50, and that's cool and everything, but like we did that like 50 episodes ago, so I think that makes us better. It's almost like the Patreon is called Make Us Better. So thank you guys. I think the Megadads support us over there too. So I don't mean to slam you guys so much. Congratulations to the Megadads, by the way. And you're also the top 50 list of sort of the best 50 games of all time. But I think I talked about that last week. I want to give a quick shout out to Tammy Ryan on the show last week. Very open on the episode, but also just continues to just be a rock star in the Discord. So Tammy, I know you had a bit of a week. And I think everybody in the Discord, everybody in the group echoes my thoughts, and just we're with you. So stay strong. We're with you. Also, you guys might be wondering, why is this episode number 145? It wasn't last week 143 with Tammy. Well, I'm saving 144 for Ray Osorio. So as I mentioned, we have returning guests, and this month was supposed to be a Phoenix Overdrive, Nerd Overdrive return. And Ray and I were scheduled to record on Thursday evening. Something came up, unfortunately, but that spot is not lost. Ray, if you're listening, that spot is yours. We will get that, and we will retroactively put you into 145. So I wanted to make sure of that. That's sort of like the best way to make sure that happens, is just to like that 144. That's Ray. That's all you, bud. Whew, why am I out of breath, guys? I used to run upstairs to go record this, and that's why I used to be out of breath. I feel like I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm not nervous. I'm not like tight in the chest or anything. I'm just fat and out of shape and getting old. Did the yard work yesterday. I don't know if this is me getting old for sure, because I look outside and I'm like, it's a good looking lawn, even though it doesn't look that great. Like the snow melted off of it like 2 days ago. So first chance I got, we rake and I mowed and we seeded and fertilized and water. Oh, guys, I'm pretty stoked about that. Holy crap. I think we should just maybe get on with the show here. I'm so stoked for May. May is today the 3rd. When you hear this, today will be the 30th. But May is upon us. And I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, but May brings E3 predictions. And in 2 weeks, you're gonna have an onslaught of stuff. And I always like to be one of the first shows to do E3 predictions. And that tradition is going to continue. Some amazing guests have already been lined up, so guys, stay tuned for that. But why don't we get into the show here? Because I've got a really good conversation with Mr. Jesse Sackin, and it's waiting for you. It's like it's hiding, and we're gonna like whip off the curtain, and you're gonna be right into it. Mr. Jesse Sackin has been supporting Bobby and I for a long, long time, and finally, he has launched his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the notes. Let's get him up to 100 subs so he can get his custom URL. He is Turbo GFX Jesse, and we'll get into all of that. You can follow him on Twitter at JSackin. Here he is, Mr. Jesse Sackin.
Yeah, I was playing around with it. And when you have a face like this, you don't want anything blocking it, you know?
Exactly. That's what I was surprised about. I mean, you just never know, like, people on the internet, what they're going to look like. And you fired up your channel. It's like, I realized I'd never, like, seen you before or heard you talk or anything. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, this guy's just, like, he just talks and he's handsome. And, like, just get this guy in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's so weird, like, being on YouTube and, like, talking to people, and you're kind of like pen pals because you don't even like see each other. You know, it's a weird thing. You know, it's very weird. But
I'm glad you're venturing in, man.
It's I've been looking for a creative outlet for a long time. Like kind of a little bored. You know, just looking for something to do, a new hobby.
Yeah.
And I started like making pottery, but wasn't into that.
Were you really?
I was trying.
Dude, that's awesome. What did you make?
What did I make? I made a Crash the Hedgehog. Some other stuff. I made
like you still video game related?
Yeah, that was some dinosaurs, that kind of stuff. And I was like, what am I doing here? They were all horrible. Looked like a 4-year-old made it.
Whose idea was that? How did that? You don't accidentally like stumble into a pottery class like?
No, I actually saw somebody on YouTube do it, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty therapeutic. But it turned out to be more frustrating than anything else.
Yeah, like does the exact opposite thing that you want. You want to just like de-stress, and you're just like blood pressure's through the roof.
And then so to get into YouTube, it's like I don't know any of this technology, right? Like when we emailed a few months back, you're like, oh, I'm sure you know what OBS is. I'm like, yeah, OBS.
Totally. Oh man.
I know what it is.
So I'm like, because maybe you'd heard other people kind of say it, just because it starts. I don't know. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of it. I actually don't know there's what else there is, so that's kind of where I go with it.
Yeah, that's what I've been. So I like downloaded for free like last week and just kind of teaching myself, like playing around with it, going to YouTube, learning like the basics, and then using iMovie to edit. And people who tell me it's crazy that I even use that.
Why is that?
Because it's so primitive. I don't know. People are saying they don't like it. They're saying like with like Vegas or Final Cut Pro, or those are better. I don't know.
Yeah. How's it working for you though?
It's been great. I mean, it's simple.
Man, like, that's the thing. I was actually.
Is that what you?
I'm on PC, so no, I don't understand Macs at all. Like, just it's trying to help me. Like, it's really doing a nice job of trying to help, and I'm just like, just please, I just don't understand you at all. So yeah, I'm on PC, but I actually was talking. By the time people hear this will be the show. We're into it now by this point. But on last week's show, I sort of did an intro that talked about how a lot of people are starting up their new things, and I had you in mind with this too, because like a lot of people are like, they'll do one thing and they're like, give me advice, like give me like, what do you think on this one thing? And actually what I was saying to you and a lot of people is make 10 more. Do that thing that you just did, make 10. You're gonna learn like so much about not even like the content that you're creating, but all the stuff that we're talking about now, like the technology and all this other stuff that you're just like, didn't see that coming. I can't warn you about anything about iMovie or like God knows what other like, because trust me, my computer right now is like, it's half open, like it's still recovering from surgery from Friday. So there are certain technological things that we have to kind of get over, and then you kind of find yourself, your voice, and things that you want to say. And then
there's so many resources on the internet, and I mean, I've made 5 videos, and even now I look back at that first video, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I do this? How did I not know to fade that out or to cut this or edit the vocals a little bit? It's just crazy. And it's great learning. Like, that's what it's about. It's about growth and learning and like, having fun at the end of the day. You know, that's why I do it. Because yesterday I made a video. It was an 8-minute video. It took me about 4 hours.
I saw that, man.
And I'm not exaggerating. Like to write
I believe you.
Find all the B-roll to like put it all together. But I had fun the entire time, so it didn't feel like work. It felt like I was putting a project together. You know.
What was that video for? Just for people who weren't in the Discord to see it.
That video was for Super Mario Odyssey, 5 DLC kingdoms that I predict are going to be coming.
Oh,
so I honestly, I honestly do believe I love Mario Odyssey. It was probably my second favorite game of 2017, and probably my second favorite game on the Switch.
Yeah.
But my one criticism of the game, it was a little easy, and it was like I got through it so quickly. Like you didn't really need to get that many moves to advance the next kingdom.
Yep.
And I went back and got a lot more, but I really finished the game in like 8-10 hours. So I've really been craving more kingdoms and like maybe not bigger ones, but more challenging, more challenges, more stuff to do in it. So I really think this E3 we're going to get another Super Mario Odyssey DLC pack.
I don't think I've heard anybody say that. To be honest with you, I feel like, and I do. If we're at Nintendo and we have guests now, we've got a whole bunch of different voices. Nobody's even bringing up Mario Odyssey. Like, it's crazy. I mean, to me, it seems like it's fallen off the face of the earth. So I'm glad that I want to talk about this a little bit. I miss Mario Odyssey.
I love Mario Odyssey. And if you follow Nintendo on Twitter, which I'm sure you do, every like other week they drop like little DLC packs. If it's like a piece of art, and if you find out where that piece of art is in the ground pound, a little Luigi comes out and gives you some coins, or some new costume packs keep coming out. So they are still like giving DLC a little taste, little pieces. But I do think a big package is going to come
like
out.
Paid DLC. You think like?
Yeah, I think it's going to be paid because I think it'll be substantial. I think there's going to be a Mario Sunshine, Delfino Plaza, and then I think there'll probably be like 2 other. I think if they give 3 kingdoms, they could charge for it. If it's less than that,
yeah, well,
I'm not big.
You know, it's going to be value. Like, no matter what, that's the thing about Nintendo with the DLC. Everybody knows it. That if they put something out, it's probably going to be worth your money.
Yeah, exactly. Like very similar to what they just did with Splatoon 2.
I can't wait. You know that everybody's going to just go nuts when that thing drops.
Yeah, I can't wait too. I think it's a little expensive, $20 but for something that I personally believe should have been in the game to begin with, because did you play the single player?
Barely. Like I did for a little bit. I was like, I'm going to learn all this stuff. And then I actually got kind of taken away with everything else. I just couldn't believe that we had the whole community just jump on all the time. So if it wasn't for that, I would have been into the single player more.
Yeah, I never had Splatoon 1, so to catch up, I was like, I need to get through this campaign, learn it, blah, blah, blah. And it was decent, it was short, and like pretty, not that creative. There were some creative mechanics that were put in there, but then they were just like repeated, never really like grown on. So it was okay, but I probably wouldn't have finished it. But like when I start a campaign, I just need to finish it. I don't need to like 100% complete it, but I need to finish.
Was that going quickly back to Mario? Like when you finished Mario, did you 100% complete that, or just kind of roll credits?
Hell no! I did get that's 999 moons. I have better things to do with my life.
I mean, there's even a point somewhere in between like getting to the end of the game and then 999 where you go like, yeah, I finished. There's probably somewhere in between that feels like you've accomplished something. I agree with you that I feel like that game was a little early, man, or a little easy. Just it didn't feel
a little easy.
A little bit. I just didn't really feel compelled to keep going with it, to be honest with you.
So going back to like Mario 64, to like advance the other layers of the castle, you had to get a lot of stars, right? So it wasn't like, oh, I got 10 stars I could advance. You had to get a lot. I feel like even if in Mario Odyssey, if they increased the amount of moons you needed to advance the next kingdom, I think that could have like given the game another few hours of play.
Yeah.
And I didn't get all 199 moons, but I did get around 750. So
did you really? Holy crap, dude!
Yeah, I just loved it, and some of the moons that were like really frustrating, or like the races, or like the really frustrating stuff, I was like, all right, I'm too grown for this. I'll move on.
You got better things to do. How are you balancing? Like, so 750 moves. That's dedication, man. That's time dumped into it.
Yeah.
What's your day like? Like, how are you mixing grown up life, mid 30s?
Yeah.
Well, early 30s, I should say, early 30s. We're not quite, because I'm right with you. We're not quite mid 30s yet. and like dedicate, like that's a huge amount of time into the one game. Oh, yeah. So there's all the other games we have to balance. There's, you know, yourself, and then married life and everything else. How does that balance work for you?
Married life, you know. So my typical Monday, I wake up around the crack of noon.
Do you really?
No. I have a full-time job, like that takes up like 50 hours of my week.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's interesting when you're single,
Jesse.
I know, too many hours. What am I doing with my life? I got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills.
I suppose.
So, I work from home, right? So it's kind of it's a different 50 hours than people that go into the office.
Right.
You know,
we don't have a commute anymore.
No commute. Mm-hmm. But you're kind of always working. You know, it's like you're home and you might take breaks, but you're kind of always working.
Totally.
Kinda.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. You know? And I say that totally, like, because I bet you probably get that all the time. Like, oh, whatever. You don't have to like change your clothes or like drive into work. So obviously life is easier. But you're always at work technically. Like as much as you're at home, you're at work.
Yeah, I'm speaking to a lot of like CEOs of companies or general counsels of companies, and I'm wearing this. They're all suited up, and I'm wearing this.
That's awesome.
Unless it's a rare video call, which I try to avoid.
Mm-hmm. You've got like the one suit that's like hanging on your door. You're like, okay, I guess I'll like throw that guy on.
Yeah, I just put my wedding tuxedo on. You know, wear that to a meeting.
Do you still have
it? Not weird at all. Oh yeah, I bought it.
How many years have you been married?
I've been married for about a month and 3 days.
Holy crap! Really?
Yeah, I got married on St. Patrick's Day.
That's a good day to get married.
Perfect, right? Easy anniversary to remember.
Yeah, I can't place like your hair. Like, where is your family from? Like, is there Irish there? Like, I feel like everybody on the East Coast has some. You're either like Irish or Italian, or maybe Jewish. I'm not sure.
Yeah, my heritage is Jewish.
There it is. Nailed it.
We booked the venue and booked it on March 17th. Mm-hmm. We didn't even realize it was St. Patrick's Day till days later.
I'm like that on every St. Patrick's Day where I'm like, oh yeah, that's this day. I don't know why it just never locks in for me.
Never locks in. Mm-hmm. All right, so going back to like trying to prioritize time and when you have a wife and you have a family and you want to play games and a job and like you fall in love with the game. So I mean, like, you get home from work, you and your significant other, you've been working all day, so you want to spend a little bit of quality time. But you know, back of your mind, you're like, I kind of want to play this game. Mm-hmm. It's all about making the time. You have to make the time for a significant other, show them that you value them and their time. Especially when you have a significant other that doesn't game at all, and they think it's like, that's not annoying that you game, but it's not like, wow, it's just like a stress relief. It's a hobby. It's not like, for non-gamers, it's hard for them to, I feel like it's hard for them to understand, like, how could you be so passionate about video games, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you've like come across people that like look at you a little weird when they hear you're a big gamer?
All the time. And I probably overcompensate for it. So at work, I've started to accumulate things at my desk and things like that. So I've got, like, my wife went for my 28th birthday. This is when I knew I was going to marry her. Gosh, this is a number of years ago now. Because my birthday's on the 28th, so my 20th birthday on the 20th is like this golden or whatever champagne birthday. So she made me a golden coins birthday party. It was all Mario themed. The whole table was like these little mini cupcakes, but shaped in like 8-bit Mario. So she had like red, blue, and whatever. It was incredible. Sweet. And then she had like those little bead things that you iron and create those little flat, so they're like the little plastic beads that you arrange. Yes. She ironed them up. So those are like hanging in my office. Somebody just told me what those were called. I can't remember what they were.
And it makes it look like it's 8-bit almost, right?
Yeah, man. Everything was incredible. She had like paper mache, like piranha plants and everything. It was incredible. I was like, well, I have no choice. I must marry this person now. So that stuff's hanging in my office. And
a little quick side nugget about those little bead things. No, just a quick side. About last year, I have a 4-year-old niece. We like spent like an hour or so making one of those, and then when we went to iron it to seal it together, it just like fell over and was like, I felt so bad for my niece. She was like hysterical crying. It was a disaster. I was like, I'm sorry. We'll put them back together.
That's heartbreak for a kid. That's got to be like. There's only been a couple times where like I've really disappointed Lincoln, and it's only been a year. But it's just like it's heartbreaking. Yeah. Like, oh man, I'm really like I can't make that up. I don't like disappointing just people in general, let alone kids.
Yeah, you seem like a people pleaser. You seem like a people pleaser.
I know. I want to get into that in a little bit because I want to. We apparently we need to scrap or something. But I come out right away at work where I'm like, I'm a huge nerd. Like I'll just like come out with it. And we had a new boss come in, and she's like, and she sees these. I've got a couple custom made coasters that Josh Stapleton made. They've got Zelda on them. There's a couple here with Super Mario Kart. Cool. Yeah, so awesome, man. Like they're just like, yeah, they're incredible. And so she goes, "Oh, Zelda, my daughter loves Zelda." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard this one before." And then she just goes into this. Yeah, she's really into video games. She loves like Assassin's Creed and everything. And this is like this woman's going on like probably 65. Wow. And I'm like, this is a new one. This ain't like, we're kind of like just talking shop a little bit. And then, yeah, it was, because usually you get the, oh, I know Mario and I know Zelda, and they think like Zelda's the guy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Who didn't think that? Who didn't think that at one point?
Well, maybe that's the backwards notion of the Japanese language. I actually don't even know. I don't know how any of that works. But yeah, so we were talking about balancing. Okay, so I want to talk about balancing games too, because this kind of gets into backlog a little bit as well. Like I'm pretty often, I'm pretty wary of diving 100% into a game. Far Cry is one where I pretty much did, but I've actually kind of held back. Now that God of War is out, which we'll talk about.
Sure.
I did the same with Assassin's Creed Origins, where I got about like 70%, maybe 80% of the way. And then once I stop, I can't really go back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the same for you with like Mario Odyssey, or if there's anything else or do you typically finish games?
I like to finish games. So I like a very small niche genre of games. Like I hate like the first person, you just see it down the barrel of a gun type of game.
Yep.
I like action games, action platformer games, like Uncharted, Tomb Raider, now God of War, those type of games. And if I'm really, really looking forward to a game, I could push everything aside. Mario Odyssey is a game that I was looking forward to for like over a year from the Switch announcement trailer back in, I think it was October of 2015, no, 16.
Yeah, because they did show a quick thing of Mario in that little the trailer.
It was like 4 seconds. It was like 4 seconds, and then Game Explain made like a 30-minute video like breaking it down.
Yeah, man.
And my hype was through the roof. I could say like I think Zelda's my favorite game of all time, Breath of the Wild, but I think I've never been more excited for Odyssey in my entire life.
That probably speaks to the sales of it too, where people are like, this is the best game, but for some reason the hype levels for Mario are through the roof. That's nuts,
it's just like you're seeing Mario in all these like crazy environments you've never seen him before. Like
you've even got Cappy eyes over your shoulder, like pinned up on your bulletin board. That's sweet.
Well, yeah. If you on my video I released yesterday, I kind of used it as a prop.
I saw that, and the thumbnails are amazing too. Like how can people find you on YouTube? While we're talking about this real quick, how can people find you on YouTube?
So my name is Turbo GFX Jesse.
Amazing.
So basically Turbo Graphics Jesse. I use Adam Leonhardt for all my logos and backdrop. So shout out to you, Adam, if you're watching this. They're awesome. So happy. So Turbo Graphics Jesse. So quick backstory. I could tell you a 30-minute story why it's Turbo Graphics, but really quickly.
We're here, man. What do you mean? What do you mean quickly? Get out of here. This is a podcast.
So I'm your age. So obviously I'm an 80s kid. So our first system we had, me and my older brother, was Nintendo NES. Not the classic that all the millennials have now. I had an OG Nintendo, and we used to play that every day. We used to like blow into it.
Get up and laugh. Dude, I've said this before. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this a little bit, but it's amazing to me that like without the internet, we all knew to do that. Like there wasn't really any like forums or anything for you to go like, what do I do when my game doesn't work? We all just like started blowing in it for some reason.
Yeah, it's like how do we all know where those secret warp whistles were in Super Mario, right?
That's nuts, dude. That is totally nuts.
I kind of wish like the internet like just didn't talk about spoilers in games, so we could kind of figure this stuff out on our own.
You're not kidding. I have to. I thought I was gonna be okay with God of War, but like people are just so silly with their screen shares and stuff, and just like guys,
I block it out.
I have to as well. I'm very sensitive to spoilers.
So I'm a younger brother, so my brother's 3 years older than me. So when it came around to the next generation of consoles, it was kind of his call. I was probably like 8 or 6, and he was like 11. So he was like, my parents are obviously going to listen to his opinion more when it was the next big purchase.
I know all about it.
Yeah, so my brother, we had friends that had the Genesis. We had friends that had the Super Nintendo. So he took all that information that he had available to him and made the best decision he could at the time. And he decided to get us a TurboGrafx 16.
Oh my god! What kind of decision-making model is that?
I don't know. Bonk's Adventure looked appealing to him. I think there was some like, I think there was some like baseball game that was like supposed to be like the best on TurboGrafx 16.
Oh sure, yeah, totally.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, baseball. 1991, the best on TurboGrafx.
Absolutely.
As a kid, you don't know it's not good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we loved it. We loved it.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think I've ever even like held a controller for a TurboGrafx.
It feels like a bootleg NES controller.
Right.
It really
mm-hmm.
kind of shaped the same way, but it's not. You know, it's like cheaper and like a little thicker. It's not good.
That is the one thing that is incredible. That like you just know it when you hold it. There's just like this doesn't feel like the Ouya was a great example. Like I don't know why I particularly like that other controller, but like this one just feels like absolute trash in my hand.
Trash.
It's no good. How long did you guys like hold on to that before? Like were you able to ever rectify that mistake?
We were able to rectify it pretty quickly. And in the next few years, as soon as we got
couple of years,
Nintendo 64. We got Nintendo 64.
No, did
like,
you miss the whole Super Nintendo generation?
Yeah, we never had a Genesis. We never had a Super Nintendo.
So but you played those, obviously. Like you had
later in my life, yeah, I had friends. All of my friends had one or the other. Nobody had TurboGrafx.
Oh my gosh! And like,
I
imagine nobody's coming over to your house and be like, "I gotta play that TurboGrafx, man." You're the only one who has one.
Instead of Playdates. I was making the calls instead of Playdates. Nobody was calling me.
Oh no! I know. Well, I know definitely know what that's like. Yeah, calling the people with the games. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah! But a few years later, we were able to rectify, and we got N64. Like the date came out with Mario 64 and Pilot Wings, the only two releases for that system.
Of course. Yeah. What else do you need?
It was the best, man. That like I can specifically remember like sitting down in the basement with my brother. He had some friends over. I had some friends over playing Nintendo 64 for the first time. Playing Mario 64, going to Bomb Battlefield, and like minds are blown.
I know, right? The first time I ever saw Mario 64 was actually in a Toys R Us. Rest in peace. And like I remember my neighbors, we would always go together. We were obsessing about video games all the time. And he just like, watch this, and he would just kind of like push the joystick forward just a little bit. It's actually with this hand, and he would just start to walk a little bit, and we thought that was like the coolest thing. And I always thought like that was a weird thing because we would have been that came out in '96. We'd probably been like previewing it maybe even before that, so like maybe 10, 11 years old at this time.
Yeah, we might have been 10. I think we were
like
10.
Who's appreciating that kind of thing at that age? It's like, let's talk about graphics, and we're talking about Mario walking around. That's how you know you're a true nerd. Like right down to your bone, you're a total geek.
They had great marketing at that time also for the N64. Like seeing Mario, like I remember it was like you'd see Mario and then he would start running up a wall, and it was like, oh my god.
All the things he's doing, all the things that we lied about on the playground for like the original Mario, like you can jump up over the pipes or whatever and do like it was that freedom. That's awesome, man. So it
was so fun.
How many did you ever get like 4 controllers? You start getting multiplayer and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Like endless times playing Mario Kart. I definitely had 4 controllers. I definitely had like 2 good ones and then like 2 bootleg ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Bootleg. Nice. Yeah, like just third party kind of stuff.
Yeah, third party bootleg.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have my 64 to this day and plug it in once.
Same one.
Same one. OG.
What kind of catalog did you, or what kind of library did you end up collecting?
Very few. I have. Yeah. I mean, I had a bunch over time, and they kind of like went away. I had what did I? Star Wars Pod Racer.
Oh yeah, man.
I had the best game ever made. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, here we go.
Superman 64.
Oh, come on, Jesse.
No,
everybody just like shuts it off right now. Well, I mean, you guys were no stranger to bad games or anything. You're like, well, baseline was TurboGrafx, so I guess we might as well pick up the Superman game.
What else? What other games? Star Fox, which is one of the best like not flying simulators, but just amazing games.
I'm with you, man. Especially like that summer, it was I can't remember which one would have come out first. Probably Mario Kart and then Star Fox, I think. We just go back and forth, 4-player, and like what is it, 2 maps on Star Fox? On
I think it's just 2.
We would just play like the 1, 2. Like we wouldn't even take advantage of the full selection of maps. We would just do that. So between those 2 and then GoldenEye, like forget it. It was just unbelievable. Oh man, I miss those days.
I do want to fast forward in my my gaming
Please.
lifestyle a little bit. So I had a Dreamcast. I had the Wii.
You talked about that in your video. The Dreamcast, $99.99. Like, how can you not? We're on the same path here, man.
Came out at $9.99. How can you not get it? That was a total bust of a system in my eyes. I didn't really enjoy it that much. There are a few games I played, but I moved on pretty quickly.
Do you think people overcompensate for it now? Like, kind of go, it was better than you think. Or
some people love it. There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Dreamcast Guy, and it's basically like he's dedicated his life to Dreamcast. It's every game, and like there are a lot of quality games. I just didn't have them growing up, so I don't have nostalgia.
Revolution. I had the pads. We were dancing up and down. Everything. Yeah, dude. It was because we had that boot disc. You could actually just burn games. I think the statute of limitations is up. We had a whole bunch of copied games. Black side of the disc.
Actually, yeah. You didn't ask me what I did for a living. I'm actually work for the government, so you'll be receiving some. You'll be receiving a call in a little bit, and you'll have to turn.
That's all right. My government will protect me from you. So I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. Donald Trump, he does some crazy stuff these days.
Yeah, but he'll get wooed by Justin Trudeau. He'll be like, "I'm gonna come after you," and then Justin Trudeau's like, "Yeah, but look at my abs." He'll be like, "Oh,
great abs, great ass on that."
Sweet
man,
abs, right? Only took 30 minutes to get awkward. That's cool.
So, kind of a little awkward. All right, back to video games. So I had PlayStation 2, skipped PlayStation 3, then I had Xbox 360, right? And this is when I mentioned in my first video, but this is when I kind of fell out of love for video games a little bit. Not that I didn't enjoy them. I just had like schoolwork, getting a job, career, girlfriend, wife. So it was about 5 years of my life where I really only had Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And I would get the new Madden every year, I'd get the new Grand Theft Auto, get the new God of War, but like really.
What did you think of GTA 4?
The worst. I think it was the worst one.
Oh no! I played it twice, dude. I love that game. Well, I love New York, man. I have like this weird sort of like since watching David Letterman growing up as a kid, like staying up way too late, and just I would have dreams of like my brother and I just like flying to New York and just like wandering around. Like I've had this like crazy infatuation with it. So then when I played, I like jumped into Liberty City and then went to New York later. I was like, I actually kind of know where I'm going. Like it's not exactly the same. Like it's similar.
So the physics in that game are a little different than the other games, I think. I think it's a little more realistic physics, a little bit.
Yep.
So like the driving and like when you're in a car accident, you fly through the windshield, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. The story just didn't captivate me. I mean, Vice City, San Andreas, and 5, just like stories I personally thought were better, and just like the environments I thought were more interesting.
Maybe we're like fascinated with the opposite coast.
I'm
close to the West Coast.
If part 6 is Canada, maybe you won't like it, and I'll love it.
It's like all of Canada, so it's like the biggest GTA map ever. It's just like this giant nation instead of a city. Where can they go from here? Like honestly, what can they do? They've taken it up to like 3 characters. Like it's nuts, man.
I would actually almost not mind if they go back to 1 character.
Me too.
But much bigger environment, like all of the United States or all of Europe. So like you have to get in a plane and fly for 5 minutes, or kind of do like a Wind Waker thing, where you have to like get in a plane and discover new islands. Maybe you go to the Caribbean. You have to like, I don't know. People like cities, so it needs to be some sort of big city. But what do you think? Where do you think they could go?
I mean, I don't see them actually. I would like, because I don't think that in order for a game to get bigger and better, you need to take one thing and then just like hit a multiplier to it. So I don't think that the better thing to do is just like go from 3 to 6 characters. But I have a feeling that's exactly what they're gonna do, particularly with Red Dead Redemption. Like I'm starting to see like I don't know. There's to me there's hints of there's gonna be multiple playable characters, and they feel like they really hit on something with that. So I don't know. I don't have like a huge like. I don't particularly have a huge love for Grand Theft Auto, to be honest with you. Like GTA 4, it was mostly the city, and like I don't have a giant love for. I think it's LA, right? That they're kind of parodying.
Yeah, it's LA. Yeah, so it's California. Yeah, California.
Yeah, it's just like this giant concrete jungle that's hot, and I don't know. I don't particularly love it. So for me, I think location is big. Like that's actually why I liked Watch Dogs 2 quite a lot, just because I love San Francisco. So I think something that's a little bit more interesting. Maybe it's very diverse too, though. Grand Theft Auto 5, like you can in a way it does seem like a country, because you can go to the city, you can go to like the backside, like the backwoods, and where there's nothing, everything's barren. So I don't know, man. I'm mostly just intrigued to see what's going to happen with Red Dead, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, that's one of my most hyped games.
Me too.
I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for that. You know, because it's basically Grand Theft Auto, just back in the day. You know, but with even better character development, I think.
Yes, exactly. And I'm of two minds on the GTA 4. That's why I liked the characters, but I could understand why people wouldn't. Because Nico's just kind of he's kind of weird, but I really liked him. I genuinely felt like he was trying to be better, but just kept kind of getting pulled back. And you feel sorry for those kind of people. That's an empathetic type of narrative.
Sure. How long did it take you to play through Part 4?
Oh, a while, man. I did everything. That was probably two runs, probably of, I don't know, probably 40 hours, maybe.
That's about right.
I wasn't sitting around for 6 hours at a time bowling or whatever. I'd do it once and be like, cousin, I want to go bowling. And no, we did that already.
I do want to quickly tell you how I got back into gaming before we lose it into a.
Oh, come on! I know where we're going. And I love this too because I talked yesterday or last week for the listener to Tammy about this as well. So for her, it was Skyrim, but I'm curious what game brought you back in.
Well, it wasn't a game. So I had an itch. I kind of had an itch to buy another game for my Xbox 360. So I was Googling, what's the best games that came out in the last 4 years that I missed?
Oh, really?
And then I Googled that, and then I just fell upon a page that said the Nintendo Classic is getting re-released. I was like, whoa.
That's when this happened?
And then I was like, all right, when that comes out, I need to get this. And then a few weeks later, I saw on Twitter, they were like, the Nintendo is releasing a quick trailer for their new console. And I was like, oh, I'll check this out. And that first trailer that was released in October of 2016. Yeah, 16. Just hooked me. I was like, I'm back in.
Dude, okay. So you had a gap there.
I had a big gap, but that trailer, I was so into it. From that day on, I would Google Nintendo Switch every day, Nintendo Switch news every day, trying to find little tidbits. Then I learned that the Zelda game was coming out. I was like, oh, the Zelda games looks like nothing I've ever played before. It looks so awesome.
Yeah, man. You were exactly what they were going for.
I am that guy, right? So I was a guy that left gaming, got so hooked by a Nintendo Switch. I bought it the night it was released, the night in January when they did the big presentation. Pre-ordered right then. I got 4 games on release.
That hooked you, dude? Okay, so that's really interesting to me because it was super disappointing to me. Okay, what?
Well, honestly,
it was Super Mario.
It was Super Mario and Zelda because I'm a new gamer, so I didn't need 20 games coming out right away.
Good point.
I just needed those 2 games, and they looked like huge games. So I was like, all right, I'm in.
I love this notion of it's almost like being back new almost for the first time, but you still have the background knowledge of what makes games great and things that you should care about.
Sure.
But you didn't have the jadedness of the last 5 years of internet video game nastiness. So the entitled opinions and all that.
I had a Wii, right? And then when the Wii U came out, I was aware of it, but it was just I was not interested in it. I was like, what is this thing? Why do I need an iPad that looks like it's made for a 2-year-old? And none of the games really interested me that much. I know there are some great games on that system because they're all coming to Switch now.
I don't think you have to back that talk up at all, man. I think you're good. I look at this, it's right here. It makes its appearance every now and then. I feel like the 2 knobs remind me of an Etch-a-Sketch. I just kind of want to twist these things and shake it and then start all over again.
The 2 games on the Wii U that I do really want to play, but I won't buy a Wii U for. I do want to play the Mario 3D World.
Oh, good call. Yeah, where's that? Yes, please.
I would have thought that. I was hoping that 3D World and the Toad game. What's that game called?
Captain Toad.
Captain Toad. Tracker. I was hoping that was going to be a bundle. That would be awesome for $60.
Good one. If we ran Nintendo, make that a bundle.
Make it a bundle, baby.
I like that a lot.
And then Pikmin 3. That'd be a sick port. But they're probably coming out with Pikmin 4 soon, so
that'll definitely be an E3 thing, where we were almost tricked into thinking, hey, Pikmin was the next one. But there's got to be a real deal. And as soon as you even say that word, there's few games that if you mention them, I'm transported so much I am with Pikmin, where all I hear is just the whistle. My wife just plays that crazy. Just tweet. Oh, man.
Well, I do predict Pikmin World will be announced at this E3 and released this year.
Dropping the name convention. It seems like that's what video games are doing, or the number convention. Just start over.
Start over.
Soft
reboot. Soft reboot. So just tell everyone listening, I am a dedicated gamer. So now I went out and bought a PS4 last year, Nintendo Switch, a Pro Controller. I buy multiple games every month. Now I'm like always gaming.
So did this transition, this return to gaming, did this happen, like, were you dating your now wife back then?
Yeah, I was dating her we had like a 4-year relationship before.
Okay.
Before me.
So she watched all this kind of come back around. So like what was that like for her? Because she's like, all of a sudden you becoming this person. She's like, I didn't sign up for this.
She said that to me before. Well, to be honest, I try to prioritize my time. Like it's a great stress relief, right? Like playing games for me is an amazing stress release. If I had a good day, bad day, stress, play a game. It doesn't even matter what game it is. It's a great stress relief. So she understands that. And the beauty of the Nintendo Switch is she could put on her Housewives show or a Bravo show. I could have the Switch in my lap with one headphone in, be able to talk to her, play the game, spend quality time together, but we're both watching our different forms of entertainment. So it's a pretty good compromise,
I was going to say that word in that, like, maybe we're entering a time where a compromise doesn't have to mean that both people are doing something that they don't want to do. Like, the compromise actually it ends up being like both people get to do something that they really want to do. I think about that with music, actually, on the radio. Like, I often wonder, because, like, I don't love the music that I listen to with my wife, and I don't hate it, but it's not like this is what I would throw on. And I wonder if, like, would she put this on, or is this kind of like, this is like literally that compromise? If we're both kind of just like, this is non-offensive music that I guess we can both kind of live with, and then we miss out every now and then, like Grammys come on or something happens where we're reminded how old we are because we have absolutely no idea what new music is anymore. It's so sad, man.
These people come on the stage, they're getting interviewed, they have these crazy names, and like, how do I not even know who this person is? I should know a name like that.
And then you're like, wait, I haven't actually listened to the radio, or like MTV just abandoned me, so what am I really supposed to do here?
I hate top 40. Like, sometimes there's a song that catches me and like since its hooks in me.
Yeah.
But most of the time, like, I can't stand, especially like pop, like current pop. Some of it I just cannot listen to.
I know that's kind of what ends up being on the radio. I'm like, I'm not like digging this, but I mean, what do I know? I'm out of touch with music, anyways. I want to talk to you about the pit. You go ahead.
Yeah, one quick second. I just want to say one thing about Significant Other. So there are games I've been trying to play with her, like Mario Kart. She likes Mario Kart. What game I think she's really, really gonna like is the new Yoshi game. It looks like a fun platformer, couch co-op. All right, so let's talk the pit.
Oh, I kind of want to now you reminded me of what we were saying before. I kind of wanted to. I wanted to ask you about, like, what is her reaction now to all of this? Like, you got stuff all over your walls. It was not there before when you met. How's she dealing?
All this stuff is here. The video games were, but all this stuff. I've been a nerd my whole life.
Oh, okay,
right?
there it is.
I've never stopped being a nerd. I've never stopped liking like comic books and the comic book movies and like nerdiest TV shows possible. So like, she's kind of, it's not like I was like a straight edge jock when she met me. Now I'm into video games and comic books.
Yeah, you guys are like walking down the street having like a nice romantic time. You guys are just all into each other. And then you kind of pass like this like retro video game store and you're reminded, like, you're taken back to your past. Wait a minute, what about? And you just transport and become this totally other person.
She supports me 100%. Like anything, like making these videos very time consuming.
That's why you marry her.
She's been nothing but supportive. She wants me to get big, so she could stop working.
Yeah, man.
I'll support you with my YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, let's get you to 100 subs. Everybody needs to go sub. Well, I'll put a link in the show notes so that you get to 100, and then you can get your custom URL, because
that'd be
Turbo GFX Jesse, TurboGrafx Jesse. That is awesome. I can't wait, dude. I want to talk about the pit because I think I mentioned it when. By the way, thank you for supporting on Patreon. And I think I mentioned when you jumped on, I'm like, this was a guy who has been vocal to Bobby and I for quite some time, and like a few people are, but like when you say something, I'm like, Jesse's got a point. Like, that's like I don't ignore it. I can't ignore it. And so I wasn't surprised. I knew that about you before all of this, and before you started your YouTube stuff, and then you started talking about this notion that people are too kind to each other on podcasts, and you want to have like a talk show or a segment that is like dedicated to just coming at one another. So talk to me about the pit. Talk to me about like this. Why are people too nice? All of this stuff.
So full disclosure, I've been a patron for Make Us Better for probably about 6 months to a year. But most of the time I'm just a lurker. Like I didn't really put myself out there too much.
That's why your comments are so powerful. It's like that. You don't talk shit all the time, but like when you do, I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. Yep.
I'm opinionated. I'm an opinionated person, just who I am, and I like friendly confrontation. I like banter. I like going back and forth with people. So the idea for this show, I believe that we could workshop the title. I think it's going to be called The Master Debater.
Somebody had to go there. I'm glad it's you. Yeah. Yes, please.
Do you think that's appropriate, or do you think that's like that'll discourage people from watching?
I think it's exactly what we need in the world right now. Yeah, we need a show called Master Debater.
The tagline is going to be, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Right?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about stroking your ego.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you stroke it, it will come. Feel the dreams.
See,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there you go.
So the premise of the show would be kind of like one of these sports debate shows. You ever heard of like First Take or like
PTI?
PTI. That I want it to be like that kind of style.
Love it.
Or it's a quick introduction, and then we debate 3 topics.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start debating, we go into what I'm going to be calling the pit. And you're no longer friends. You do respect each other, but you are trying to win. You're trying to survive this pit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think of it like in Return of the Jedi, when Luke Skywalker's in Jabba the Hutt's palace and he gets dropped down into the pit and has to fight that monster.
Yeah, man.
Only one of those 2 guys are going to survive.
Yep.
You want it to be you.
And then at the end, when somebody loses, you got that fat guy, the topless fat dude, who just starts bawling his eyes out. You're like, oh no, Sean lost. You got crushed by the gate.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be 3 topics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we'll determine a winner. Maybe chat. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll just decide.
Yeah,
all right, you won that. And then like really, I want it to be kind of aggressive, friendly name calling. Nothing like not family friendly, but like some back and forth. And then once it's over, you leave the pit, and you guys are back to being best friends, even better friends, because you've really given it to each other, and you respect that person for giving it his all.
I feel like there's probably something on I don't know if there's anything on YouTube that allows for this, but on Facebook or maybe even like Periscope or a lot of like the different live video types of things, you can as people are saying things, you can you give a thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. And that would be a cool way to involve the crowd and stuff, to have them award points basically.
Well, even on I don't think I could do it live at first anyway, because I want to keep it family friendly.
That's kind of where I picture it. Yeah. But
and
or maybe as a moderator, that's as awarding points, just because what the heck is that? Oh man, I'm totally blanking on it. The dude used to be on PTI. He was like the producer, Tony.
Yeah, Tony. He does his own show now.
He does his own show, and he's basically just doing that. Just like people are saying stuff, he's like, "Yep, you get points."
That would be great. Maybe it'll be me and another person, and then a rotating thing of guests.
That's
sweet,
not
a bad idea.
That's
not a bad idea to have a 3rd person involved. That's why I brought this to you, to workshop.
My whole thing is guess anyway, so I mean that's all I know.
Yes. But so I do think so I watch a lot of these interview shows for Make Us Better, but then there's tons of other communities to watch. And everybody's so friendly to each other. I think it's fun, a little drama, a little friendly, aggressive banter.
I'm up for it, man. I always tried to get Bobby going, but he kind of just took a little too far. He took it so personally. I'm just trying to bump nasties, mate. Well, that's not the way what I wanted to say. But yeah, because he's so, rest in peace, Bobby. We all know that he's died. He's so attached to Nintendo. And so it's difficult to do that and have it turn out okay. But I feel like you're laying the groundwork really nicely of the point of this is to be confrontational. So it's okay. I don't know why that setting the expectation is super important to me.
I mean, it's interesting. Since you said Bobby and since you said R.I.P.
Yeah.
Just like how John Cena challenged The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34, Bobby challenging you to be the first guest on the Master Debater. Do you have the testicular fortitude to debate for 3 rounds? I know you're the guru, but are you still the guru? Where you been? to be the guru, you got to show up once in a while. Give me an answer. Do
That's
something. Do something, Bobby.
He's actually, I think, even more powerful in death than he was in life somehow.
Oh, man.
Like when he did his last episode of If We Ran Nintendo or whatever the last show that he did, his body disappeared and then his clothes just like landed in his chair.
I mean, honestly, I could tell you without any doubt, if there is no Bobby Pauls, I'm not on YouTube. 100%.
I think you could probably say that about a lot of people.
Yeah, he is he's probably the person I respect most on YouTube. And that's why I wanted to challenge him first to come on my show. If he's up for it, totally. If he's still taking care of other things, I understand. But the challenge is open, and
I'll tell you what, man. I found his grave that they buried him in when he died. I found it, so I've been digging it up a little bit. I've been exhuming the guru. Is that the right way to use that word? I think that is. Exhuming, is that like digging up bodies? Is that what that's about?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait for that.
The tagline is, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So I want to beat the man in 3 topics.
I can't wait for that. That'll be incredible. And you guys will match up so great. I feel like basically the entire like East Coast, whenever they get together to podcast or converse or whatever, it's just like it's so entertaining.
We got the New Jersey thing, you know.
Is that where you are? Is that where you are now?
I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think there's a bunch of us that are out here. Jams is out in New Jersey. I think
you got an edge though, because Jewish people just have this like ability to. Yeah, Joseph's out there as well. Yeah. I should just fly out there and we should just like have a meetup.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't need to be there. You guys could probably do it before, and like you guys do it first, and let me know if anybody murders each other. We need to know if any of these people on the internet are serial murderers.
I don't know. I might. If I see Jams, I might just slit his throat right away.
Yeah, it might be you.
I don't know. I might have to. I might just have to.
Dude, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I got a few other shows in the works. I want to come up with a show called Reboot, where I just talk about how I'd reboot video games. That'll be just me doing a rant, just showing some video.
What are some ideas? I'm curious now.
Wouldn't you like to know? I have a great idea for Donkey Kong. I have a great idea for a Waluigi game.
Oh, there we go.
I have a great idea for the next Mario Kart. I'll save. Those are a little tease. You want that?
I understand. You can't give it all away here.
I'll give it to you later.
Dude, that's awesome.
What else? I do want to talk to. Have you played any God of War yet?
Yeah, I'm about an hour in, and this is an example of a game that, for me personally, I would have rather this game came out just a week before. Obviously, like there's all the other factors, but like last week I was super ready for it. This week I'm like struggling to put in to get in the time, just because my computer keeps blowing up in front of me, and that's kind of like taking me away a little bit. But I hit the superhero fight that everybody's talking about, and that is awesome. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, non-spoiler. I think I'm similar to where you are. I just finished the first chapter.
Yep, I'm exactly the same.
And that's where I turned it off. I played it. I got it on Friday, and I was like dying to play it, but then life came up, and so I played it a little bit yesterday. I think it's great so far. Getting used to the controls is a little different. So I'm not used to using R1 and R2 for like all the attacks. So but it's been great so far. I think it's the best looking PS4 game that's ever come out.
I think so too. I think that people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I think Horizon might have been just a little overrated in its like visual value. Everybody talked about like that. The landscape gorgeous, but I think it dropped off on the character models and the faces and everything like that. Where this game picks it up big time. And I don't know. I had to remind myself that this game is like all one cut. Like the camera never moves. Like that alone, because I'm not reviewing this game officially. I'm not writing a review or anything like that. I'm not even doing like a video on it. But like that has to come into an evaluation of like, this is
definitely
next level of like a game this massive and this long, and the camera's you're always right there.
The only time it goes to black is when you die.
You die.
Yeah. Have you died a bunch in that first chapter?
Yeah, because I was still kind of like figuring out. Here's the thing about me and blocking. I typically don't do it, and it turns out you really need to do it in this game.
The game is like it's a little Dark Soulish. Like you have to be strategic, even with small battles. You have to parry, you have to dodge, you have to know when to do late attack.
even Dark Souls, like blocking isn't really a thing. It is. So I was playing sort of like Bloodborne, where I was trying to like just dodge out of the way, and there are some attacks, especially the enemies I was meeting up with, where like that didn't work. They would track you even if you dodge. So yeah, there's some blocking I had to learn how to do.
One thing about the game, without giving any spoilers away, everybody knows about a father and son. And since you are a father now, I mean, I'm not a father, and even in the first hour of the game, I was like getting very emotionally attached to their relationship and how it's going to evolve. Like, speaking as a father, like, did it like hit your heartstrings at all?
Dude, or do you think this? Like, this.
Yeah, of course.
I love the discourse here. Yes. Well, okay. So especially speaking as a father, I was first quite taken aback at how he was with him, like very just like dismissive, and he doesn't like him. He feels like this is a total burden. And then I started to kind of like, as I got more into the game, I was reminded of the other God of War games. I'm like, this is exactly what Kratos would be doing. Like, this is exactly how he would be acting. And he wants to be better, but like there's just this darkness inside of him that keeps him from even being a decent person or a role model for his kid. And so even in the face of like such desperate need for attention and approval, Kratos is like, just do as I say, like, and he's very harsh with him. So I'm coming around to his approach, where he's like, he's just doing his best and what he knows, and what like he's fathering and parenting in a way that is innate in him from his experiences. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering, there will be a time where I need to be a little harder. You know, it's not always going to be, yes, hooray, like clapping for every little thing. There's going to be a time where you need to sort of like lead by example, and work ethic is one thing, and taking care of yourself and caring for others is not necessarily a prescriptive thing of like telling somebody what to do, but more of an exemplified thing of showing, right? So yes, and I'm only like an hour and a half in or so, and I can't wait to see where they go with this. It's I'm so glad that it seems like Sony is nailing this relationship with a playable character and somebody who's coming along. It reminds me of I don't know if you played. Do you ever play BioShock Infinite?
No, I miss all the BioShocks.
Well, Elizabeth is a character of like it's sort of there, like, but almost ahead of its time, where games are starting to figure this out a little bit more, where you have
she would randomly throw you ammo and stuff like that in med packs, right? Or...
Yeah, as a like functionally, like she was pretty good, but I did feel like as a narrative and for a character to play off of Booker in that game, I thought that was really interesting. And so I'm liking this. We've kind of gotten over, I think, where escort missions are horrible. Joel and Ellie was a great example, and those two in BioShock.
This isn't Ocarina of Time. This is 2018. Man. Escort missions could be fun again.
Yeah, and you don't have like, I think video games would try and get around this in the past, where you would play as a lone player and then like meet up with a person at the other end, and the fact that that the camera is with you the entire time also speaks to parenting, where I mean, I'm down here, I'm escaping from it a little bit, but I'm always, no matter what, 24 hours a day, I'm a dad, and I've got to worry about, you know, Lincoln, and if he's good, is he hungry, is he clean, all these things. And that I think translates nicely with God of War, dude. It's a good game. Already I'm getting all these things from it.
I think it's going to be like one of the top games of the year. There's so many, the graphics, the story, the gameplay is super fun. Throwing the Leviathan, I think it's called, the axe.
The axe feels so good.
It's amazing. You could throw it and then like do a like hand-to-hand combat for like the entire battle, and then when you're done, just have it come back to you. Like,
and you're incentivized to do the hand-to-hand combat too, right? Because then that's a good way to jack up that 1 meter that you can start ripping dudes apart. So there's like, I was surprised at how the combat feels similarly to the other one, even though it's like completely different. Like, you're not wailing your chains around or anything, but you can chain together moves between your light and heavy attacks and stuff.
You'll do a bunch of mashing and like mashing people, but then all of a sudden someone will be behind you, and you have to get a little more strategic. And you have to do like Breath of the Wild parry, and time slows down, and then you could do a hard attack.
And you have a button to turn around 180 degrees really quick.
Yeah,
I just like discovered that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, the controls are a little funky. Like, I think it'll take a little bit of time.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm so excited to get back into that game.
Nice, man.
Crush it.
Nice.
Crush it, man.
I want to ask you about your E3 plans. Are you going to be doing coverage? Or are you going to be doing like, you're home anyways from work. So like, what are your plans for E3?
So E3. So like I don't plan on doing like much news really on my channel.
Get some reactions going.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some like I'm definitely gonna get rumors. I love talking about rumors and like speculation. So I'll probably do a bunch of those. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do about E3 yet. I kind of don't even want to live stream it, so I could just like enjoy it myself without like having to bother.
I could totally see that.
E3 is coming up. I think it's gonna be a great E3. I think last year, besides Nintendo, was a little disappointing. I think this year, like Bethesda's gonna come out strong. I think actually yesterday I read somewhere that Xbox they're remaking Banjo-Kazooie.
I did hear that, yeah.
So and they're going to announce that at E3, so that'll be big for Nintendo fans. I think PlayStation is going to go all out also.
Yeah,
they have a lot to show, like a Red Dead trailer, a final Spider-Man trailer, Days Gone trailer, and then new IP.
You think Days Gone will be because they are delaying it to 2019? I'm wondering how they kind of deal with that, of trying to keep people excited. But
I think if they delayed it and don't show it, and it's kind of like people just like forget about it. I think they have to show it.
Well, it's funny because like we've been I definitely have been knocking Sony about like, oh, they're talking about these games like for 10 years and like they'll never come out, and all of a sudden it's like, well, God of War came out, Detroit will have come out, like a bunch of these games are like actually happening. So what's the next batch of like what does the next 5 or 10 years look like? When is Bloodborne 2 going to be a thing?
Yeah, I think we'll see a bunch of sequels. I mean, I want to see new IPs. You know, I mean, it's fun to like rehash old games with nostalgia, but I want like the new. I want the next generation. But also, it's kind of hard for them to balance. So with all these rumors swirling of PS5,
not happening.
It's like, I know. I think it's gonna happen in like 2020.
It'll be a Pro before we get PS5.
You think so?
Yeah, we'll get another iterative console before we get it.
I think 2020 PS5. But how do you keep on putting games out for PS4 when PS5 is right around the corner? It's kind of
they are so they don't need to start over. They definitely honestly I feel like they could probably stick with the PS4 even beyond 2020. Like it is so unless Nintendo forces their hand, unless the Switch just keeps going. Like PS4 just has such this giant lead that the last thing they want to do is like clean the slate and then have them and Microsoft start again. Whereas Microsoft's been doing all this legwork where the library is huge. It goes back 3 generations. So yeah, PS4. I feel like the sooner that Xbox jumps over to the next one, PS4 could still kind of just do whatever they want to do. Man, the X didn't change anything. So PlayStation can really just kind of choose their own destiny at this point.
Yeah, I think PlayStation's going to be proactive. I mean, there's rumors out there that devs already have dev kits.
Yeah,
like
I don't
some
know
studios
if I buy that though, man. I don't know.
Like, what's that game with the baby and the battery? What's that called? It's like a baby in the stomach. Death Stranding. That's going to be a PS5. I think Last of Us 2 is going to be PS5. Like,
oh yeah, I could see that doing a. I think I've said it before, but I think that could be a Breath of the Wild thing, where it's actually PS4 and PS5, and it's like the launch game for the PS5. Like they sort of did that with the Last of Us last time. They did the remastered, and I mean that's about as close as that was going to get without them actually doing the same game for both.
I have a question for you. Since you brought up Breath of the Wild, do you consider Breath of the Wild a port?
No, I don't. But I don't know why that's the case. Like my instant reaction was like no, but is it? I don't know.
It was made for the Wii U software, 100%.
Yeah, and it's the same game.
Yeah, with 1 year, probably with like a year left in development, they're like, "Oh shit, we got to go to Switch." So like, all right, we're going to Switch.
What do you think?
I think it's 100% a port.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you think Mario Odyssey was originally made for the Wii U, and then like a year or two before they like switched it over?
I think probably. I think they probably like if the Wii U would have sold better, then they probably would have stuck it out a little more. They sort of had to. I mean, a lot of people talked about the way that the Switch was released. It seemed like it was rushed, and I think that a couple of examples are Mario. But Mario was, and everybody were saying, like I know the Emily Rogers and everything, they were saying that Mario game had been ready for a long time. Like even when they announced it, they're like that could have been done. So I think to your point, yeah, it was probably being developed for the Wii U, and then they right-click save as, and they put it on the Switch instead.
That's all it is, right-click. So if that's true, then it's very possible we haven't even seen what the Switch is capable yet. We haven't seen the games that are really designed.
Not
for
from
the
Nintendo,
Switch.
yeah. I think
Nintendo.
we've been getting great examples from like Doom and a few of these other games. Like
Yeah,
Skyrim
those
is a
games
giant
look,
game.
look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 2019 we're going to be seeing first-party Nintendo games that are going to blow us out of the water.
2019,
I think
you think it's going to take?
Yeah, I think 2018 will still be very similar to what we've seen. I think
Mm-hmm.
next year, I think Retro Studios' new project's going to be insane. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be insane graphics. Like all the next games, maybe games we don't even know about now. Well, obviously games we don't know about now because we don't know about anything right now.
I do need. I have not gotten into the Metroid Prime games, and honestly, it has a lot to do with the visuals. It has a lot to do with the HUD. Everybody makes a big deal of like you can see the reflection of her visor and everything. Like I find a lot of what is on screen on Metroid Prime to be like very distracting and very too glowy. Honestly, like I feel like it's similar to why I didn't love the original Halo games. Where it's just a little too much. So you kind of like take the glowingness down and simplify that HUD. I feel like that's what they may be doing with Metroid Prime 4. I hope so. Anyways.
It's actually Halo and Metroid Prime are actually pretty similar games if you think about it. You know?
I think so too. The suits are similar, like the visors, and the Doom guy. Those three can just hang out. Master Chief, Samus, and the Doom guy can just all hang out and just like do a dance party in their spacesuits.
Yeah, now or they could go in a death, or they could go in a death pit and see who would win.
That would be amazing, dude. I don't even know. There's no way to quantify all the topics that we covered today. Nobody could keep track of it. I definitely can't.
I like to, I think we bounced around a lot. You know, you make a rundown and it's kind of, conversation goes where it goes.
Yeah,
I do have one question I wanted to ask you
Please.
About God of War that I totally forgot to, but I think is a good question. Let's say God of War was a new IP and it wasn't Kratos. So same character, but it was named like War Father or something like that. Do you think, and had the same amount of like marketing and dollars behind it, do you think it would be more or less successful than it's going to be?
Definitely less. Definitely less. God of War is like such a staple and such a representative icon of what PlayStation is that like that can't be discounted. I think that's what a lot of the excitement about Horizon was last year, was that it could be the start of that thing. But definitely not. I don't think that. I think it's going to be enormous. I actually can't wait. I love that Sony is doing so well that they just can't help themselves but tell everybody how many copies are sold of all these things. I can't wait to find out how many copies sold of God of War. This thing is going to be bonkers, and there's no way.
Horizon sold very well, right?
It did. So maybe like, I don't know. Maybe we're talking about like astronomical numbers versus like atmospheric. I don't know. Like it's.
Yeah, super successful.
The game itself should be able to stand on its own, but certainly the God of War is going to bring people back. Like it's doing a lot of what I think Nintendo did for you in terms of, I remember God of War, but like I don't like those games anymore. I've grown up and I want something a little bit different. Like, all right, here it is. And I was thinking about that last night too, of how do you do that? How do you kind of acknowledge that this is like your core group of people that played this game at a certain age, at a certain time, and then make a new game years in the future and just kind of like for that to line up with their interests and what you're making, and it's all based on the historical part of where they originally experienced the game? That is bonkers to me. So like they deserve even another like tip and credit for that.
There is a scene in the game in the first minute. It's not a spoiler, but the son goes to Kratos and he goes, "Wow, it looks like everything's changed." And it's kind of like
he's like, "Everything is different. Get over it."
Yeah, everything is. It looks like everything is different now, and it's kind of like him talking about the game. It's like everybody's grown up a little bit, and like even the game has matured.
Yeah, man.
That's why I'm really excited to get back into that. Probably right after this call's done.
I was going to say, it's amazing how like we choose to spend time making content, talking about the games, and we're like, all of a sudden we get off the call and we're editing, and 4 hours later we're putting this 8-minute video together. And I got no time for games. But this is the whole reason I got into it. Oh, man, it's a conundrum.
It's a conundrum.
Jesse, tell everybody where they can find you on the internet. Your YouTube, let's get you to 100 subs. You're on Twitter. You're in the Discord, everything, man.
Yeah, it's definitely my goal. First goal is 100 subs. So if you guys are interested in Nintendo and PlayStation content, stuff that interests me, maybe Xbox down the line, but the things that interest me right now are PlayStation and Nintendo, and I'm going to be doing some movies and pop culture stuff too. But really, rants, top 5 lists, debates, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Come to Turbo at GFX Jesse. Hit the subscribe button, and I promise you, I'm putting it's going to be decent quality, but high effort. I promise you that. The quality might not be great, but the effort is going to be through the roof.
I heard that when you said that. I think it was the first video you put out. I'm like, I got to take that, man. That is so good. Yeah, mediocre quality, but effort. Yeah, it's all there. A for effort.
That's all I can do. It's one-man show that doesn't really know technology well. I'm trying to throw enough shit against the wall, cabinet stick.
No, man. As soon as I fired out that first video, I was like, this guy's a natural. It's going to be amazing. You're a future star. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this today, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. You're someone I've looked up to in the YouTube space for a long time. It's been an honor for me very humbled to be on the show today. So definitely thank you.
Hey, Lincoln's back. I think I may have woken him up with that intro, but Lincoln wasn't here before, but now he's here. Hey, buddy. You haven't been on the show in a while. Do you want to tell anybody? Do you want to say thank you? Do you just want to stick your tongue out a little bit? One day, you know Adam Leonhardt's kid does podcasting with him, so no pressure. He's only 3. Jesse Sackin at JSackin. Please follow him on Twitter. Let's get him up to that 100 subs. It's going to be amazing. He is putting in work, everybody. He consistent. That's the key on YouTube, and he's doing it. Lincoln, do you have anything to say about that? No? Do you think that people should follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri? It's Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. Or Lincoln. Lincoln's on Instagram. Lincoln like the car. Or the president, Capri like the pants. Follow the website, We the Nerdy, or the show at We the GamerCast. It's a lot of words, but that's okay. I also do If We Were Nintendo, of course. Follow that show, and that goes up on every Wednesday. And on Thursdays, the Xbox Drive. No way in hell I'm doing a Sony podcast, Joseph. Just gonna say that. Please, guys, if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy If You Ran Nintendo, Warp Whistle Gaming, Nintendo Nostalgia, Warp Whistle, Bad Bit, it's all at patreon.com/makeusbetter. You make all of us better, and we appreciate every single one of you. If you're $3 or more, you're in the notes, and $10 or more, you're at the start of the show, the executive producer. So thank you guys so much, everybody who's already done it. Thank you for everybody who's even thought about doing it. Thank you to our artists, Gary Gray and Adam Leonhardt, our video designer, Mr. Antonio Guillen. Lincoln is just staring at me. Do you like this stuff? This is fun, right? Powered by the DaceSpace Network, DaceSpace.com. Otherwise, Lincoln. This is episode 145 of We the GamerCast. You haven't listened to it, but it's in everybody else's ears and eyeballs. I'm going to be back next week. Lincoln, you going to be back next week? Are you being shy? You are the cutest freaking kid. Look at you. We have to wait for the music to end, okay? The music has to be over so that we can go to Jason. It's almost there. I'll be back next week, everybody. Gonna have amazing guests. I hope you're there too. Now it's time for Jason. Jason, Lincoln, say Jason quickly. Say, you ready? Say it. Say Jason.
Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!